We welcome from American One Credit Union, Risk Manager Angela Hadley and Small Business Specialist Thomas Harris. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you guys doing? See you both.
Happy to be back.
We're talking scams again, and this time we're talking grandparent scam, and perfect because Bart is a grandparent of 3.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
but hopefully has not fallen victim to any
He
scams.
feels
No.
like a younger grandparent.
Yep.
But people have tried
Oh yeah.
many
Yep.
times.
Yeah, this one's tricky because who doesn't want to help their grandparents, right? I know I was like the spoiled grandkid. I kind of got what I wanted a little bit. And if my grandparents ever got a call and I said, "Hey, I'm in trouble. I need help," their first reaction is they're going to help, and that's exactly what these people prey on. So the schematic of the scam is you get a phone call and it's, "Hey, I'm in trouble," or "I'm in jail. I need help. I need you to send money." And of course, again, the instant reaction is, "Okay, I'm going to do it." They will do research behind the scenes on your social media, make connections on who is who, the names of your grandkids. They find that out, and so you feel like it's legitimate.
You should have maybe a code word or a question that only the grandparent and the kid know, like, what color is my Buick?
Yep.
Well, I mean, there could be a picture of the Buick on the social
Oh,
media
that's
part, so
true.
you might want to get in a
Or,
little deeper than that.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Well,
never
use
know.
a code word,
I love the idea of a code
Yeah.
word. I've actually talked to people who have used that and it's saved them, right? They didn't know that information and it made them stop and pause. So the other big red flag, I know we talk about it all the time, but it's how are they asking for payment, right? We know the jail doesn't accept gift card payments. We've talked about that
Yeah.
before, right? Or Bitcoin. Go to the nearest Bitcoin ATM. That's another common one. Well, of course, that's not how they're going to receive payment.
Right.
So that's another big red flag.
And
But it
if
can
they-
definitely be scary.
And if the English is something like, him need money,
Yes.
it's probably not legit.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. They've gotten trickier though. With all of the AI that's available,
Right.
they can use voice, scams and make it almost sound like the person. So it does get really difficult. They can spoof phone numbers. So I always recommend just hang up and then actually call your contact, right? That's saved in your phone, and very likely they're gonna be like, "Hey, that wasn't me. I'm fine. I'm here. I'm doing this." So, yeah.
It's not just phone, you can get email.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yep. They have all the phishing and vishing and all the different names to it, but essentially it's just the bottom line is they're going to try to contact you through a channel that they hope that you'll respond to with a sense of urgency and something that pulls on your heartstrings.
Thomas, go ahead. Did you have something?
How do we protect our?
Yeah. What's the best way?
Yeah, so like I said, look out for those red flags. My biggest thing, I know I say it every time I'm here, but I'm going to continue to tout the drum, is just take that pause, right? Talk to somebody. We've seen somebody recently that they were able to prevent themselves from falling victim because they stopped by their son's work as they were headed to take this money to a Bitcoin ATM and said, "Hey, this is what's going on. I gotta go right now." And he said, "Mom, that's not how these things work." And it stopped them from losing a significant amount of money. So really pay attention to those red flags, and then have that trusted contact or advisor that you can say, "Hey, this is kind of what I'm experiencing. Talk to me about this."
And there's a Fraud Fighter website that you can go
Absolutely.
to for all the information.
Yep.
Fraudfighters.org.
And you train your people to be on the alert if some person walks in and says, "I need $10,000 in 50s."
We sure do. And and we train very well, but what's tricky is they'll tell them how to get around that conversation. They'll say, "Hey, tell them you're working with a contractor, you're putting a deck on the back of the house," things that for us, we'd be like, "Oh, well, it makes sense they would need more money for that," right? So if somebody is coaching you on what to tell your financial institution, that is a huge red flag that they're trying to help you evade our, tactics, our education that we've given to our team.
Thomas, I have a scary word that I'd like to ask you about. Beneficiary.
Yeah, sometimes
I feel like it's kind of a scary word.
Honestly, it is. A lot of people, it's kind of taboo. They don't really want to talk about it. So a beneficiary, all it is a designated person on your account that helps you in an event. So if you pass away, it really gives them access to the assets on your account. They don't have access to the account until you pass away, but in the event that happens, it helps them get the funds.
Everyone should have one?
Yes,
Absolutely.
everyone should have one. The reason that you should have one is because we see it a lot. Somebody happens to pass away unexpectedly, family doesn't have anything in line for a funeral, they need funds for it, and sometimes they need the funds right away. And if you don't have that on your account, it's hard. The government takes the funds from us, and you have to go through this lengthy process to get them.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what happens if you don't have a beneficiary. It sounds like some red tape.
Yes, so much red tape. It goes through probate court. So as it goes through probate court, you have to pay legal fees. It's a bunch of fighting and trying to figure out if you're legally subject to the funds.
Yeah.
Brandon, let's make sure we get down to take care of the beneficiary stuff later today.
Yeah, if you don't have a beneficiary, Andy and I would be happy to act as your beneficiary.
Yeah, we'd be happy to.
Yeah.
And again, we would not touch the funds until you were
Until
deceased.
Yeah.
Another key is letting your beneficiaries know that they're your beneficiaries, because oftentimes we see that there will be somebody designated on the account, but the account sits because they weren't aware, that the account even existed or that they were the beneficiary. So communicating with your loved ones who you are listing and where your accounts are is really important. Having that file of facts ready in the event you have, that on time.
I have an idea why they weren't told. Maybe they had a lot of money. No, but again, it could be family member, something to talk about. But yeah, when you think about the red tape, or God forbid something happens, you really need to make it as easy as possible for your family.
Yeah, you definitely need to create that plan in place.
Yeah. Yep.
So with your will and all that, with your attorney, you have a beneficiary, but you also need to let you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And the wills are great, but designating that beneficiary cuts all of that out. It makes it so simple. They bring their ID in most times, right, at most financial institutions, and they're able to get those funds and to Tommy's point, pay for the expenses, the burial expenses, things like that, in the event that that's not already prepaid. I know a lot of people take that action as well, which is really smart.
Well, for more info, you can of course find it online at the Fraud Fighters. And I want to thank you guys for coming in again. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks
I love being
to
here.
Tommy Harris and Angela Hadley from American One Credit Union. More of the show right after this.